All right, everyone, let's get started. Welcome to the very first Product University of 2025. I am so honored to be able to lead you all on this product education journey yet again. My name is Angie. For those who are not familiar with me, I am the Product Training and Development Manager here at Riman. So today I am a one-man band. So if you have any questions and you're dropping them in the chat, hopefully you can help each other. Or of course, you can always email me after the call at ritual@riman.com. So of course, this is a very first product university we are doing in 2025. We will do them continuously throughout the year, but basically here's what you can expect. So Product University is a series of 8 weeks. Each Wednesday at 6 p.m. there's going to be a session. Most of them will be on Zoom, but of course we have that unique situation of session 4 being in person at Riman HQ. Of course, if you cannot attend, do not worry. We will also be broadcasting it, and you will also get credit for attending if you go with the Zoom link instead. So with that being said, I wanted to also acknowledge, because I'm seeing everyone saying hi and where they're from, specifically the LA fires that are happening. For those that didn't know, there are some serious fires going on, the Palisade Fire. So if you are local to that area, I hope you are safe, and please know you are in our thoughts at this time. But without further ado, let's get started on our very first Product University session. So I'm going to share my screen. All right. So I love today's topic. Today's topic is the Riman product philosophy. I really think this is crucial in appreciating first and a more broader understanding to really then appreciate the later sessions we'll go into. An important thing to note as well in terms of just the general sessions, over 1,000 of you signed up for this session. That's insane. That is just such an honor, whether you are someone who is new to the Riman family, welcome. Or if you're someone that's revisiting Product University, thank you again for joining. In our commitment to innovation, one of our things is that we're going to be continuing to create new ideas, new concepts, new products. So Product University in kind is also going to develop. So what you're learning today in a year's time, or maybe even a couple months' time, there might be new content and you might find yourself signing up for Product University again. So that's really what we're going through today is these Product Universities is just really bolstering your appreciation of the product stories and of course the Riman product philosophy behind those stories. Another thing I do want to note as well is with the sign up of these, many people tend to drop off on signing up for the February dates. I know Zoom sometimes doesn't show you those February dates, so make sure you are signed up for February as well, because each time you registered, it generated a specific URL just for you, a link just for you. And again, if you have issues or if you're not too sure if you're signed up, feel free to email me at ritual@riman.com. All right. Oops. My gosh, where am I going? All right, so today we're really going to touch on our product values in depth. And so if you are unfamiliar with our product values, these are our 5 governing values that cover all of our product development for the products you already know and love and anything to come. The first, of course, is that we are rooted in tradition as a K-beauty brand, but one that is backed by science, by that power with innovation. Furthermore, our third product value is being sustainably sourced, our fourth, simple and holistic, and last but certainly not least, a difference you'll love. And so we'll go into more detail on each of these within this presentation, but to understand where they even came about, who created these product values, we of course have to appreciate Mr. On, or Chairman Mr. On. So Chairman On was or has been in this industry for I guess 26 years now, being in 2025, and he developed a deep love for quality products. He is not interested necessarily in creating products just to fill various pockets in the market. He wants to create products that are genuinely efficacious, but also serve a purpose to a multitude of peoples. And so he was actually exploring the World Direct Sales competition in the early 2000s, and he was kind of wondering, what can I make that's different than this? And so as he's already ruminating on this, he went home, and he always tells this story. He went home and he kissed his children goodnight. And as he went to go kiss specifically his daughter's cheeks before she went to bed, he really looked at her and he said, what is this youthful glow that she has, and why do we lose it as we age? And so with that question he asked himself, he committed the creation of Insulderm to finding that youthful glow again for all of us to enjoy with any age. And so that's why I really enjoy Mr. On's focus in the creation of these products is because it's inspired by beauty he found in his own life. And it's something that's very deeply connected to his desire to help others do the same, to find that youthfulness so that we can truly have that healthy, glowing skin. And so with that all in mind, he created Inselderm. What does Inselderm mean? Well, Inselderm stands for intra or in cellular dermatology. We are looking at products that address specifically the cells, really looking at the different layers of the skin, how these ingredients are specifically absorbing into the skin to have an efficacy. Oftentimes, many products offered today offer a band-aid. They're putting something that's an initial cover to a problem, but it's not addressing the problem at the root. So with approaching skincare in this regard, we're able to really look at the creation of something that'll have long-term efficacy as well. Oftentimes that comes with consistency in use, with patience and seeing results, but as you all may know, it is absolutely worth it. Oh, I didn't realize there was a graphic on this, so okay. So that brings us, of course, to our first product value of being rooted in tradition. So at our core, we are a K-beauty brand. And right now, K-beauty is heavily trending. We're here to acknowledge that, but also say, hey, while it's trending, it is not a trend. It is something that Korean peoples have appreciated in their day-to-day lives for generations. There's traditional texts telling us about their specific modes of personal care that now we are simply sharing that mechanism of self-care worldwide with the Riman story. And so some of the beauty within K-beauty is not only these ancient roots and the story that's to be told with them, but also the staying power specifically within the market. There is a high marketability for these products. They are well loved, especially now as they are trending, but it also gives a kind of instant understanding of what these products are going to do, just simply being categorized as a K-beauty brand. And last but not least, the undeniable results. That craving for that Korean glass skin that we all know and love is something that is easily identified with K-beauty. What's important in understanding our first product value of being rooted in tradition is that we've based the entire essence of Riman on something fundamental, something foundational, this Korean approach to self-care. And in that, it's essentially unmovable. So with that and complemented by it, of course, is the innovation, the movable. What ways can we kind of manipulate the stories of K-beauty to continue to create new things as society progresses as well? But with that in mind, and specifically in regards to being rooted in the tradition of K-beauty, this allows us to approach formulation differently than typical Western beauty brands. K-beauty really focuses on protection and prevention rather than problem solving. We want to work with the health of the skin instead of against its presenting issues, such that those issues don't occur to begin with. This means prioritizing, gentler ingredients and keeping any harsher actives to a lower concentration to maintain your skin integrity. And I've had some people ask, why have the harsh actives then? There are certain instances in which specific actives are fantastic for the skin, but oftentimes the caveat to them is that in higher concentrations in products, they're extremely damaging. So we're just making sure that we can include these beneficial ingredients at a time or at a concentration that doesn't otherwise threaten your skin's integrity and your general skin comfort. Lastly, and I would say most profoundly in terms of formulating with K-beauty in mind, is the multi-step characteristic. So oftentimes these formulas will be complemented by other products in a ritual, in a set, in which you use them in a specific order to bring out that healthy and innately radiant skin that stays long term. All right. I also just saw someone ask in the chat if these are recorded. Yes, they are. And so we will be posting them, I believe, in the drive. So if anyone misses one, totally fine. We'll have it on the drive for you. But anyways, with our second product value of being backed by science, I think this very well complements being backed by tradition or rooted in tradition. Because as I've mentioned, the tradition is fundamental. It's foundational. It is something that already happened, is happening now as we speak, this appreciation of self-care. But in our commitment to innovation and specifically to science, we are able to modulate and to create new and innovative things that continue to satisfy market demands and to continue to satisfy societal demands as new research comes out or as new desires for specific aesthetics come out. And so largely what backs our innovation and our research are Ask Company, or is Ask Company rather. The important thing to note about Ask Company is that Ask Company is actually created by Riman and is housed within Riman. So Mr. or Chairman On rather created the Ask Company, and it's just additional assets for us to really be a powerhouse in terms of product formulation. And so within the Ask Company umbrella, we also have Ask Base and Ask Labs, and we'll go into more detail about what each individual entity does. But what I want to dwell on right now is why we even named it Ask. What does Ask mean? Well, Ask is really the appreciation and the beauty of curiosity. Oftentimes with appreciating science, it's just creating general hypotheses, working towards an answer for that hypothesis, and then starting again. There is never a time in which a scientist will find an answer and think that's the rest of their work, unless, of course, they're kind of towards the end of retiring. But really, the beauty in science is that it's always changing. There's always new developments, there's always new research. And so we at Riman are committed to embracing that change and always asking the right questions to find answers and to start again. And so with that being said, within the Ask umbrella, as I mentioned, we first have Ask Base. And so Ask Base, again, a Riman company, is actually located on Jeju Island, and it sets forth to constantly explore bioactive compounds found within Jeju's natural resources. So specifically, Ask Base is a manufacturing and processing plant, as I mentioned, on Jeju Island that utilizes not only Jeju's resources, but governmental interactions to really maintain not only a sustainable form of resource accrual, but also a way in which we can essentially discover new resources for later development and later formulations as well. So at Ask Base, we actually do source some of our own raw materials. Of course, most notably, we have that giant byung pool. There's also camellia seed extract grown on Jeju Island, nettle extract, soapberry, mugwort, the list goes on. But in this, again, I reiterate that because Jeju is such a beautifully protected resource as it is, as a whole island, everything we are doing at Ask Base is within sustainability or is with sustainability in mind, especially with governmental involvement and always making sure that we are ensuring GMP or good manufacturing practices at Ask Base. So with that in mind, at the bottom here, I actually have a timeline of how Ask Base came to be, which I think kind of gives an understanding to the growth of Ask Base and how it came to be such an important part of the Riman story. So in 2019, we actually started as Ester Bio. And so that quickly allowed us in March of 2021 to begin the byungpul extract production, but we later then changed Ester Bio to Ask Base in October of 2021. Notably then, in January of 2022, we actually took over Hyundai's Bioland Jeju plant. So this is a massive plant for us to accrue all of these resources for our products. In April of 2022, we began processing ingredients for cosmetics and skincare, and then the Ask Base HQ officially moved from Asan to Jeju Island as well. So just giving you a little history on Ask Base itself. But within Ask Base, as I mentioned, the important thing to note is the utilization of specific raw materials native to Jeju Island. This really connects us to the idea of natural ingredients and the beauty within nature, but also maintaining specific standards and high quality standards at that, so that we are the ones directly responsible for the quality and honestly the respect of the products we're producing. And so, of course, we also work with various raw material suppliers, but there are definitely certain instances in which we source a raw material ourselves. And so again, as I mentioned at Ask Base, because this is such a large entity, we also frequently go through standard checks or standardized checks rather to maintain not only GMP or good manufacturing practices, but to really ensure we have that high level quality of really and technique in our production. So with Ask Base, that is where we're manufacturing, we're processing, but where the research occurs, of course, is at Ask Labs. And so still within that second product value of being backed by science, that sister company Ask Labs is the heart of all of our research. So not only does it collaborate with a variety of different huge names, such as the Korea Research Institute of Bioscience and Biotechnology, but also various universities in Seoul and even private partners, just finding ways in which we can maximize the efficacy of our products through clinically or performance testing excuse me, performance testing period. So with that in mind, at Ask Labs, we're always looking at different things. Specifically, we even look at things like microalgae. So for example, Deserticola, that's actually a microalgae. Specifically, it's Chlorella vulgaris. For anyone who doesn't know Deserticola, we'll learn about it, I believe, in week 3 or 4 when we talk about the Bodolab brand. But really extracting various functional components from microalgae or looking at other different plant extracts that we can maximize in formula while also minimizing irritation possibilities. All of that good stuff is possible here at Ask Labs. And so with being backed by science at Ask Labs, we actually have 3 separate branches of research that are every single day committed to creating something new for Riman, to really commit to that Riman difference. First, we of course have that cosmetic research lab. This is where all the formulation and innovation study on skin and hair products for maximum efficacy without skin irritation occurs. So this initially is where we begin our initial base formulations, where we try out new formulas, where we test the sensory experience, we test the initial perceived efficacy of those products, and then of course we later send them off to get professionally tested as well. Not to say we are not professionally tested, but third-party tested. Of course, next we have that Food Research Institute. This is all involved in the ingredient study and efficacy of functional foods. So if you're familiar with lifening and all the nutraceuticals in that category, this is where the Food Research Institute comes into play. But of course, most importantly, at least to me, is the Byungpul Research Institute. This Byungpul Research Institute is the developmental research of our hero ingredient, that giant Byungpul, and all of its potential benefits. Not only are we continuing to research Byungpul as a whole and its application in products, but we're also researching and potentially patenting novel derivatives of giant Byungpul to really ensure the maximization of the utilization of this plant, as of course we do have that plant patent on it and we exclusively can use it for our products. All right, so rooted in tradition, backed by science, sourced in sustainability is our third product value. So sustainably sourced is a crucial concept. It's really something that is coming more to light in modern day as we realize our impact on the environment, but it's also something we'll never stay stagnant on here at Riman. Because it is a rather new concept in the last 20 years, there are continuous research into either alternatives for packaging or for specific mechanisms of production, and we're always keeping our eyes on that research so that we can update our practices, not only to be responsible as a brand, but to help you be responsible as a consumer. And so some of the notable things we have right now, of course, is that FSC label on the outer boxes of all the products. So FSC, or the Forest Stewardship Council, really actually kind of ensures the specific utilization of wood resources and paper resources. So maintaining forestation so that we don't have deforestation, for lack of a better explanation. But specifically the FSC mix label you'll see on all these boxes say that they are of environmentally friendly composition of mixed wood and paper resources. So that is what that mix stands for. Of course, we also have the Eve Vegan Seal of Approval on all of the Bodolab products. And so Eve, what actually stands for Expertise Vegan Europe, is an independent organization that issues vegan certificates for a variety of different products. So it can be in the food industries, it could of course be in personal care, even on raw materials can get an Eve vegan certification, and even manufacturers can get Eve vegan certifications. What's important about having an Eve vegan certification is that their standards at Eve are some of the most recognized and complete in reliability, in this category. So really they impose demanding rules and a proof of reliability, and certification specifically is valid only for a certain period. You must get recertified. So that again keeps us constantly innovating. If ever we do not satisfy that certification, which God forbid or goodness forbid we want it, we will make sure that we get that certification again, because it's important to always maintain our research to the most current status. Lastly, as you can see here, these are actually just a couple clippings of headings from some online articles. relating our relationship with CJ Biomaterials on a bio-based skincare packaging. So this is something that was in the works last year, and it was the adoption of PLA PHA packaging on our Derm EX products. So that's the booster, the serum, and the active cream. This PLA PHA is a biodegradable polymer which replaces plastic. And so we've also seen, for example, with the reformulation of the Beauty Collagen Ampule, that outer wrapping on those is also recyclable, and that was a new addition as well. So I want to reinforce, specifically with sustainability, that we are entirely open to continue improving in this category, and we absolutely will. We are committed to that as it is one of our product values. Alrighty. Okay. And so, of course, our fourth product value is simple and holistic. So as I mentioned, K-beauty is foundational. It's fundamental, but we want to make sure it's not complex to appreciate and to adopt on your own. So what we've done is we've defined each product into three basic categories of K-beauty tenets, so to speak: cleansing, hydrating, and protecting. Furthermore, we've also categorized three different main rituals that you can initially follow. Of course, there's the expert Riman ritual, we have our advanced Riman ritual, and the essential Riman ritual. And with this, and with the general education around cleansing, hydrating, and protecting, we invite individuals to otherwise adopt these rituals and perhaps even modulate them to find the ritual that's right for you. Specifically, with our promotion of these K-beauty tenets, with cleansing, we have that basic step of removing daily impurities, but also prepping your skin for further treatment and for further application of leave-on topical products. Hydrate. Hydrate is crucial. This is actually a huge part of Mr. On's idea when he looked at creating Insulderm. Of course, he was focused on efficacy and safety, but he specifically looked at the water content of cells, and this is something we actually do decrease in as we age. Skin cells at their healthiest have up to 64% water content. This is something we'll learn in week 3 of Product University. But as you age and begin to lose that hydration, you get those aesthetic negatives, so to speak. So dehydrated skin, sagging skin, wrinkles, the list goes on. So hydrate is such a simple yet crucial K-beauty tenet to follow. So replenishing water stores within the skin for cellular health and aesthetic glow, as I've said. Lastly, protect. Seal in everything you've done, maintain your skin's health so that when you're in your day-to-day life, when you're in the environments to have potential exposures such as UV overexposure or pollution, your skin is protected so that your efforts and all the things you've been doing stay intact at the same time. So really, with simple and holistic, we're looking at the approach of K-beauty not as something complicated, not as a 10-step ritual that you now have to do morning and night. Instead, it's just a different approach to your self-care and a different approach to your skincare. And last, but certainly not least, as I mentioned, a difference you'll love. So our tagline here at Riman is experience a difference you'll love. What we mean by that is it's so easy to create collections of products that you never touch again. You know, I have 4 or 5 different moisturizers I tried out and now they're collecting dust under my sink cabinet. Yet we go to the store and we see something different. Maybe it's in the packaging or maybe it's in popular on social media, but we buy it because of that difference and because of our lack of connection to the products we already had. And so we at Riman are claiming that we're that difference you're looking for, even if you weren't fully aware you were looking for it. And we believe these products will satisfy that curiosity to the extent you won't go looking for something else again. And this is important for me specifically, rather, is that that difference you'll love, of course, defines in the products and your attachment to the products, but it's so much more than that. Riman, of course, is a different product line. There's a couple different brands, but it's also a community. It's a family. It's a different approach to innovation. So the ways in which you experience the Riman difference can be romanticized immensely. And so when we had our Product University Summer School last year, our GM, Betty Praz, actually came up and explained what the Riman difference was to her. And so that's often something that I like to ask individuals is, what is the Riman difference to you? Was it in the physical changes you saw on your skin, or was it something else entirely? And so with this being our last product value, it extends beyond just the products themselves. We want to create products that not only help you, but also help you become successful if you're a planner, or help you change your perspective on the world as well as crazy as that might seem, it's really true. And even on the corporate side, it's something that I've seen myself. So that was it for today's presentation, actually. I know it was short, it was sweet. I forgot to mention that within Product University sessions, we'll have anywhere from 25 to 40-minute sessions. So I really respect all of you on the East Coast where it's already 9, 10 p.m. for you that still made the time to watch. And for those of you that are perhaps getting dinner started, even if I'm on in the background, thank you for your time watching as well, because I know it's equally as valuable. So today's was a short one, but as always, and if you're not familiar, we always make outlines for each session of Product University. So this QR code is actually going to lead you to the entire repertoire of Product University worksheets on the drive. And I show you all of these because if you want to print one out before a session so that you can take notes on the sidelines, feel free to do so. But the specific outline for the product philosophy will be on the drive. And so I'm going to pause here for anyone who wants to scan the QR code. And then I also am going to drop it into the chat. It's a super long link, so I apologize for that. Oop, am I blocking them? All right, so I dropped it a bunch of times, and do not stress if you can't find it. Again, it's on the drive, it's within Product University, and you are always more than welcome to reach out to me at ritual@riman.com. Happy to help wherever I can. And that again extends towards signing up for the February dates of Product University. I want to make sure that if you're attending the 4 sessions in January, that you're getting the credit for attending all 8 sessions by getting that unique link for the February sessions as well. Okie dokie. So next session, oops. Oh my gosh. Okay. Next session is on giant dung pool and Jeju lava energy water. This is so important. This is a fantastic next week's topic. Again, we're looking at a general overview. We're not going too in depth on the product lines yet, but really appreciating things that innately and notably make Riman unique. I know with so many different brands in the market, with the oversaturation of personal care, sometimes you want to look for the novelty. And these 2 ingredients are some of the most novel ingredients I've seen with genuine efficacy. So I hope to see you all session 2 next week, which is Wednesday, what is that, the 15th at 6 p.m. again on Zoom. Last thing to mention, Q&A session. So every Product University round, we have a Q&A session, either section 6 or session 7 towards the end of the Product University groupings. And so this session is entirely dedicated to answering questions you've sent in to us. So please send in your questions to ritual@riman.com. Please note somewhere that it is for Product University, or else I will answer it immediately and then it'll never be featured. But please send in by February 1st so that we can give the proper time or collaborate with HQ on specific answers. It's not a live Q&A session because we really want to make sure that we bring concrete information to you based on your questions. So hopefully you can participate. Please send in your questions as you see fit. But again, that's going to be around session 6 or session 7 of Product University. But on that note, that is it for today's Product University. Again, I cannot believe over 1,000 of you signed up. That is an honor. Whether you're someone that went to both Product Universities last year or you are fresh to the Riman family, your presence is not unnoticed by me. And I really do appreciate your time and your patience with listening to me talk for 30, 40 minutes at a time. But I do hope you learned something new. Again, that worksheet is on the drive for you to refer to if ever you want to utilize parts of this discussion for talking to new prospects or to your team. But otherwise, I will see you all next Wednesday at 6 p.m. Talk to you then.